What's up guys, I'm GamerMD83 and today I'm going to talk about my experience with Days Gone. But first, if you're new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing if you like what you see. I make videos every Wednesday. I started playing Days Gone when it first came out on the 26th of April. It took me 85 hours to beat Days Gone, which in my opinion is way too long for this type of game. But before I get into that, let me talk about what I loved about Days Gone. The ambience, the systems implemented to support the danger, the fear factor, and in turn the combat. The day and night cycles, the weather systems, all affected enemies in such an amazing way. The enemies increased at night and they became much more aggressive. And even when it rained, when it got cold, when it snowed, the enemies would be much more intense. It was like they were aggravated. The enemy AI wasn't extremely intelligent. There was a stealth aspect to the game that made it feel a lot like Assassin's Creed, but in Assassin's Creed you have to hide the bodies that you've killed. In Days Gone you don't. The human enemies won't notice corpse right in front of them. I guess they're just used to seeing dead people all around. The motorcycle, another thing I absolutely loved. This is one of the things that kept me going. The cool thing was that you could customize your motorcycle. Everything you did to it made the bike perform different. It made it sound different. The only time it didn't was when you were trying to capture somebody that was on another motorcycle and you had to drive, shoot, aim, and not crash at the same time. That sucked. But other than that, the mechanics were perfect for the motorcycle. The thing that maintained its quality throughout the whole game, that was the one thing. And then the little details, like whenever Deacon would burn, he would get burnt. Like his clothes would stay burnt for a while and his skin would be burnt for a while. The game looked absolutely beautiful. Where it shined. The environments were very nice. The weather, everything, it just looked very polished. So I can't talk about the graphics without mentioning the bugs. So most of the bugs were tied to audio. A lot of people were complaining about syncing issues with dialogue and the animations. I didn't have too much of an issue with this. It was kind of jarring, but it didn't break me out of my playthrough. I didn't feel like I didn't want to keep playing it anymore. There was a really big bug when it came to the audio tied to one of the exhausts for the motorcycle. They patched it very quick. But that wasn't the issue for me. The issue for me when it came to the bugs were the bugs that made me reload my game or restart a mission. That's when MD This happened to me about 4 times. I would go through the whole mission, I would be going stealth. You were proud of yourself when you got through the whole mission without even making a sound. But then, when you were supposed to get a prompt at the end of the mission to save somebody or something like that, the prompt was not there. And what I had to do was just reload and redo the mission.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
The time that you took the first time around, the second time around, you're like, I don't have time for this. I went through the mission again, but this time I didn't care. I went in guns blazing, kill everybody as fast as I could. I had already lost immersion. Now let me go back to what I was talking about with the length of the game and why I believe this did the game a huge disservice. For those of you that don't know me, I love RPGs. In RPGs, you know what you're getting yourself into. You know that these games are going to take a long time to beat. There are leveling up systems, there are trees that you could choose from, you could play different classes, you could play different styles within the same class. Sometimes there's dialogue options. But when it comes to Days Gone, a game like this, a linear story, a narrative that does not branch out into different storylines, even though Days Gone does have role-playing aspects, it narrows it down to a very simplified system. For example, there is crafting in Days Gone, but it's all narrowed down to the push of a button. You find things and then you just push a button and it's crafted. Another thing that is an RPG element in Days Gone is that you can level up. But the thing that separates this from an RPG is that these leveling up systems, these skills that you level up, they don't allow you to play the game differently. They're just unlockable skills that you don't have. So my point in saying this is, since these systems are learned within the first 10 hours of the game, easily. So after playing 60 hours plus of this, it gets really repetitive. The thing that keeps you playing is the ambience, the fear factor, the story a little bit, but more so the feeling that you want to experience the world and how it affects the enemies and how they are attracted to you when you make noise, when you turn on a light. It gets your adrenaline pumping. It's so frustrating to me because what this game got absolutely right, these mechanics and these systems to support how the game is being played, that intensity that makes you at points terrified. Especially for somebody that doesn't like zombies or anything like a zombie, because these are infected. But I hate these games. So I was absolutely terrified, but I was so excited every time I would play, because it would be like, oh my god, they did this so well, or I was just really impressed. But again, after so long, you start getting used to it. It starts getting old. The length of this game kills the thing that made it special. You don't have to know a lot about storytelling to know that a story is told usually within a formula. And the formula that stories usually follow is a very simple one. Exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and denouement. You could see the formula in Days Gone. The problem is that this formula was repeated at least 5 times. You could have made a trilogy out of this game. So many times I was left feeling, this is it. Oh my god, this is the end. But then it just opened up a completely new map. And I was like, oh my god, I need to finish this game already. Especially after not feeling scared anymore. When that's what this game is about. This game is a horror. Now, I'm not saying that no linear game can be more than 30 hours long. That's not true. I've played Rockstar games. Their biggest focus is the world, the sandbox world that they allow the player to explore. That can give a player hours upon hours of gameplay. Days Gone didn't have this because it was a semi-open world. There were parts where you just couldn't go, especially when you were on a mission. It kept saying, leaving mission zone, and if you walked just a few steps later, you had to restart the whole mission just because you stepped out of the mission zone. So honestly, Days Gone is so difficult for me to review. If you play on easy and you just rush through it, it's still around 60 hours. All I could offer is my experience. So take it with a grain of salt. You guys might not be bothered by this type of thing. So what linear games that are over 30 hours long have you guys played? Did they strike a balance? Did it work? Did it not work? Let me know in the comments down below. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.